Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is America soon to be hit by a tsunami and an earthquake? Both of them, same event. And the sad part is, could it be in 2025? And that's the question. Is it in 2025? And I'm going to show you some reasons why it very well could be. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, is America about to be hit with a tsunami and earthquake? I want you to look at these dates. If it's going to happen this year, then we're going to see a Palestinian state given sometime between April 13th and June 1st of 2025. So write those dates down, keep those dates in mind. Now let's go on. Two articles, and there's many articles saying this, that France could recognize a Palestinian state in June. Another one, Macron says France could recognize a Palestinian state in June. There's lots of them all talking about this. Well, it's not just France, it's actually Saudi Arabia, and it's probably half of the world pushing Israel to give the Palestinians a state. Why is this important? Now, I've covered this many times, but I've got to cover this. April 15, 2002, Leslie had a dream, and it's already been confirmed that it's of God, and here's why. The first point was that Arafat would go into the hospital and die there. At the time, he was not allowed outside of his compound. So to put it out on radio and TV and all the places to all of our supporters, that he was going to die in the hospital is a very big risky thing. But about 2 years later, 11/11/04, 3:30 a.m., he died in the hospital just as she was told, meaning it confirms the rest of this is of God. So what's the rest of it? That Israel will give the Palestinians a state, and that's the very thing that right now they're saying they are not going to do. The Palestinian state would be a temporary measure to allow the Israelis time to strengthen the military. Oil will be discovered in Israel. The oil will make the Jews willing to fight for the land. Then Israel and America will go against most of the rest of the Arab world. And I just put in last week's program that based upon this, it does not look like America and Israel are about to go to war with Iran. And I started to put in this article today an article that says that apparently talks are going real good between the Trump team and Iran, and lots of good things are coming out of the Iran talks. So that confirms America and Israel, apparently it's not time yet, not until after massive amounts of oil is found in Israel. Now let's go to the next one. So then, January 22 of 06, she heard the audible voice of God speak 6 newspaper headlines and heard my voice. And these are very important. If you haven't written them down, you should. Which, by the way, you should get the book God's Warning to America that tells all of this information. Anyway, she heard the audible voice of God. This is not the order she heard them. This is the order I think they'll take place in. Omer ushers in Palestinian state. That's big. So what is Omer? I believe it's the counting of the Omer, which is the 49 days between first fruits and Pentecost. I'm going to show you that on the calendar in just a second. Then a catastrophe would hit America. We believe the catastrophe, based upon like 17 prophecies, we believe that that is a meteor causing a tsunami, causing an earthquake in America. And if it happens the way, every time America blesses Israel, we get blessed. Every time we hurt Israel to the same degree, many times worse, we get hurt by God. So if it follows the same pattern, it would probably happen very soon after America causes Israel to give the Palestinians a state, if we do cause Israel to give the Palestinians a state. Now, let me explain. So the 49 days, if it happens this year, and we do not know for certain that it happens this year, but Macron is pushing hard for it to happen by June. I think that's very interesting. By June of this year. So the 49 days of the counting of the Omer, if it happens this year, would happen sometime between April 13th to June 1st, according to that calendar you're looking at there. Now, let's go on to the next point. I got 17 prophecies, 17 different people that all say that a meteor is going to cause a tsunami, that is going to cause an earthquake in America if America splits Israel. Let's start with Brandon Biggs. This is 2023. In this dream, the Lord showed me a massive earthquake hit America. It was the New Madrid Fault, the largest earthquake ever happened on planet Earth. It was a 10 or bigger. The Mississippi River split and became wider. All the bridges on the Mississippi River collapsed. I saw many things on fire. It was total devastation. It stretched from Chicago to New Orleans. It was massive. There was no way for the semi-trucks to go from east to west. They brought in temporary floating bridges. The military uses, they put them all up and down the river, trying to make the highways reconnect. They were trying to make trucks able to come in and out for emergencies, but it didn't work. They started an airlift. They brought in planes. They flew in food to the city. Semi-trucks couldn't get back and forth bringing food. They were using large cargo planes flying the food to distribute throughout all the cities in America if America splits Israel. I saw massive Chinook helicopters flying from west. I smelled strong smell of fire in the air. There was probably 30 to 40 helicopters. They shook the houses. It was like a 9/11 event. It shook America. I think it is going to be the start of the great revival, great miracles. Everything went quiet. Nobody was outside. They were all inside watching TV, watching what happened. I saw a stone lion's face. In the dream, he said, "Look at the New York Stock Exchange." I didn't know where this lion face was. The next day I looked it up. The lion is at the stock exchange. On top of the building, there's lions across the top. It was the exact lion I saw in my dream. I could see the streets of New York filled with tumbleweeds. I know there's no tumbleweeds in New York, but I saw tumbleweeds blowing down the street, and it was desolate. There was nobody moving around. It was completely empty. The Lord showed me another earthquake happened by Texarkana and went up to Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was like probably 6 or bigger. All the houses built on cinder blocks fell. Those not on flat slab were completely destroyed. Now, further confirmation, I'm not going to read it all. Back in 2010, Pastor Shane Warren came and spoke at Prophecy Club in 2012, giving his vision. He saw a satellite image of a storm, which is a financial storm, hit America. I believe that financial storm has hit. It has to do with the dollar, the fall of the dollar, and I've covered that many times, so I'm going to skip on. And what caused it would be selling oil in another currency. But here's what he heard. I heard the audible voice of God say, "You split my land, now I will split yours." If you want to, you can read the rest of it. This talking about miracles returning to the church, the good news that happens. God told me as the judgment hits, so will my miracles. And I believe, I cannot confirm, but I believe that if we split Israel, God splits America, that will be the judgment that will bring the great miracle revival for America. I want the miracles, I want the revival, but I don't want trouble coming to America. Of course, we got to pray against it. All right, keep going. Then we invited Prophet Ephraim Rodriguez to come in and speak. He's a prophet out of Puerto Rico. He said he had seen a vision of a large meteor hit near Puerto Rico. It caused a 1,000-foot tsunami at Puerto Rico. And this asteroid strike will have 3 elements: a shock wave, a 12-point earthquake, and a 1,000-foot high tsunami at Puerto Rico. But it goes up the eastern seaboard anywhere from 200 400 foot high, going inland from 20 to 100 miles. But where it hits is Mona Island, just west of Puerto Rico, which is an earthquake fault, which running up the Mississippi River Valley to the Great Lakes and will split America wide open from the Great Lakes all the way down to the Gulf of America and cause much of the West Coast from California to Alaska to fall into the ocean, something like this. Okay, let's go on. So, inviting this guy in to speak, I thought, well, if this is true, others have been shown this. So I got on the internet and I found 6 people that saw a large meteor hit near Puerto Rico. That's pretty specific. 5 people saw a tsunami hit the eastern coast of the United States. 7 saw America split into pieces. Now it's up to 17. 4 people saw large chunks of California fall into the ocean. Many people have seen that. Now it's up to 17 people saw that if America splits Israel, she will be split. Then let's go to You Be Ready. Lord spoke to me, my son, I will show you what is to come very soon. I was instantly above the earth, able to view the entire earth. I saw the sun, but it didn't hurt my eyes. The Lord was behind me and to my right. He said, I will show you a big fireball, which will strike the earth very soon. No one will see it coming. I'll say that again. No one will see it coming, not the scientists nor the astronomers. I ask, how will they not see it, as they have satellites and telescopes in space that are looking for anything to collide with the earth? He said, look and see. The Lord brought my attention to a point in space not too far outside the Earth's atmosphere. Suddenly, out of nowhere appeared a rip or a tear in the fabric of space, opened, and a bright light appeared. The tear closed back up as quickly as it had opened. A giant black-brown rock came tumbling, propelled toward the Earth at high speed. This rock came out of the tear that momentarily opened in space. 1 minute there was nothing. The next minute, a giant rock appeared out of nowhere. As this rock entered the atmosphere, it began to heat up and burn from the friction. It was dark on the east coast. The Lord said, this is that which has been foretold from the beginning of time. I have had a day and a time chosen my prophets have warned about. It burned hotter and hotter and struck the ocean. It looked like 100 nuclear explosions in one. The whole earth shook and trembled violently with the force of the impact. The plume of steam, now let me just say, if this is the fourth vial, or if this is the first, second, or third trumpet, it's probably not coming 25. I hope not. But at the same time, as a watchman, I've got to tell you it's a possibility. Let's go on. The earth shook violently and trembled violently with the force of the impact. The plume of steam was so great, water and fire reached far, far into the upper atmosphere. The place it struck looked like a boiling lake of lava. It struck the ocean north of Puerto Rico. Look at that. North of Puerto Rico and east of South Carolina. Suddenly, I was back on the earth, standing on the east coast near South Carolina. I could feel the superheated air that was caused by the blast. A wall of fire about 100 feet high came toward me. It was boiling and burning and scorching everything in sight. I asked the Lord, how far will this wall of fire go inland? He said, many, many miles. I have warned that I'm consuming fire. This is that fire. The fire was moving at high speed. It seemed it was being pushed by something as it sped past me very quickly. Then I heard a sound so loud I could only say it sounded like hundreds of mighty waterfalls altogether, although I could only hear as it was dark except for the light from the burning trees, telephone poles, and other structures. The earth continued to shake, sometimes very large shakes and other times smaller shakes, but the shaking was continuous and non-stop. The sun began to rise. The waterfall noise was becoming louder and louder. The Lord said, turn around and face the sea. I saw an unbelievably high, massive wall of water, hundreds of even thousands of feet tall. An instant before it reached me, the Lord took us back and over a city on the east coast. I don't know what city. I watched the wave come in and totally, completely cover the entire city. It had gone inland and looked like it had stopped somewhere around the Appalachian Mountains. The wall of water appeared to hit the entire east coast of America, and everything along the coast was just completely and utterly gone. I looked back toward the ocean where the meteor had struck, and all I saw was a glowing ocean of bright yellow-orange lava. All the islands, gone, totally covered with water. Much of the east coast, gone, underwater. The Lord said, my son, this is what will be very soon. I've said to be ready and to have your house in order. Many will stand before me when this judgment strikes. The big rock will come from the throne of God is to begin the end of time. But this is only one of many that will strike the earth. My children think they will be gone before this happens, but I will shake them awake, and many will wake up. The greatest harvest will come out of this. There you go. As the judgment begins, so will my miracles. The greatest harvest will come out of this. I'll say it again. The greatest harvest will come out of this. That's what I want. I want the harvest. I don't want the trouble. But the trouble has to come to bring the harvest. Then I will bring my children home before the wrath falls on the earth. I love you, my children. Repent now. Have your house in order. This rock is hidden until it strikes. Amen. Now let's jump to Ann Peterson, 2001, another person seeing it. I asked God what is coming at this. And I was shown North America on the globe. Saw three balls of fire streaking across the globe. One hit the Gulf of America, another hit near the east coast of Florida, and a third is further out in the Atlantic. I saw America get smaller. Florida was washed all over, as well as much of the east coast and the coastal areas of the Gulf. I asked if people would be warned of this event in any way, and I was told this was the warning. Now let's jump to Apostle Leslie Johnson, my wife. I dreamed I saw a tsunami heading for the shores of America. I heard in the spirit it's 20 stories tall, and I said to Stan, I see a huge tidal wave. He asked, how big? I said, once again, it's 20 stories tall. Stan said, Leslie, don't you mean 20 feet tall? I said, no, it's 20 stories tall. That's 200 feet high. She said it looked something like this blue triangle. That's where she saw it going down to. Now, there's many people I'm about to show you that have seen various stages of this, various devastations, and we hope for the least, and I might say this is the least. It was a tsunami coming. I yelled to warn the people, saying that they had 20 minutes to get out, but no one believed me. They kept having a good time on the beach. In the distance, I could see people in boats. I went back up to my room, and suddenly I saw boats of all sizes, catamarans, colorful sailboats by the hundreds coming in. People were scared and jumping off their boats, running to shore to look at panic and horror on their faces. I could see the giant tsunami in the distance making its way towards the beach. Now another one, Bob Newman. The key is that there's something that is about to happen that destroys Florida and all of the East Coast and the tidal waves caused by several large asteroids that strike in the Atlantic and the Gulf of America. Now, Maurice Sklar, prophet. I saw a massive earthquake that just seemed to crack off the coast of California. It reminded me of a saltine cracker just cracked in two. The great cities along the west coast just fell into the ocean, all the way from Mexico all the way up into Alaska, and a giant wave flooded inland until much of the west coast just simply wasn't there. It had disappeared into the Pacific Ocean. Now Dan Bowler put him on a prophecy club speaking tour in November 1997. He said, the Lord spoke to me and said, what you have just heard are the platelets of the earth shifting in the central part of the United States. There will be mercy before this judgment earthquake. When this happens, you will know that the big earthquake you prophesied will split this nation right down the middle. If they split Jerusalem, if they split Jerusalem, it will happen just as I have told you. Now let's go to another one. This is Maurice Sklar once again, but a different vision. Then that massive sword came smashing down on Lady Liberty, and I saw the sword split her in two, right down the middle. Then the sword came again and again against her. It divided her in pieces. I saw the United States seem to crack in two, like a giant earthquake right down the middle. Now John Kilpatrick. I saw a vision of a financial storm, just like Shane Warren saw, just before a new Madrid earthquake, again just like Shane Warren saw. The earthquake will come because of the Americans' actions in dividing the land of Israel by the creation of a Palestinian state, at the pressure of U.S. policy. Israel belongs to the Lord, and if you divide his land, he will divide your land. Timothy Snodgrass. God will divide the USA along with the New Madrid Fault if the USA divides Israel. America will be ripped in half. I received a vision of America being ripped in half like a veil from the east to the west, and the Holy Spirit spoke to me that if America wishes to divide Jerusalem in half, America shall be divided in half. I saw a major earthquake along the New Madrid Fault line, which literally divided America in half from the east to the west, creating a new gulf which stretched from the Great Lakes in the north to the Gulf of America in the south. I received another vision of the great earthquake centered in the 9 range, centered on the U.S. west coast. They're all saying the same thing. Then Sundar Salvarez says, I was shown in a vision which the angel showed me that the U.S. would turn against Israel and force Israel to split Jerusalem, giving the Palestinians a state. He said, I saw a map of the United States, and the angel with a long sword stabbed the center of the map, saying, You split my land, now I will split yours. Elaine Durham, 76. As the angel pointed in front of me, a wide view of land and water opened up, so that at first I thought I was seeing two countries. Instantly, I was made known to me that I was looking at a vastly changed portion of North America, which was completely divided by a large body of water, and which had lost a large part of both eastern and western shorelines. I was informed that this might or might not come to pass according to our choices as a people. Whether we split Israel or not, we must pray that America does not force Israel to give the Palestinians a state. The area of water in the middle of the United States was massive and was widest or most extensive in the north. There was no Great Lakes as I had known them, for all of them had come together in this huge sea that extended northeastward into the ocean. The inland sea also extended southward, filling most of the Mississippi and Missouri River valleys and widening by many, many miles the Mississippi River, where it flows into what we know today as the Gulf of America. This sea was so vast that I knew it could not be bridged, and so in essence, the United States had become two separate countries. Augusto Perez, if America splits my city, Jerusalem, I will split the land of America. This will lead to the establishment of the new order of the ages. So, 7 of the 9 people below saw that if America splits Israel, God will split America. Now remember, the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. I don't think that 17 people got together and cooked up a bunch of lies to deceive us. God is trying to say, God is screaming at America to pray this does not happen. Let me show you some of the maps that I have found on the internet. This is one of them. Now, the 3 things I want you to notice is look at the west coast. You see the area that is put underwater. Down the center, you see from the Great Lakes open up all the way down the Mississippi to New Orleans. And then on the east coast, you see that most of the east coast has been destroyed. This is most like Leslie's vision. Here's another one. I want you to look at west coast, central, east coast. Here's another one. West coast, central, more of the east coast destroyed. West coast, but see, they all say the same thing. Down the center, and then the east coast. Not much of the east coast is destroyed here, mostly west coast. Look at this one. West coast, down the center, and east coast. West coast, down the center, and east coast. Same thing. West coast, down the center, and east coast. West coast, down the center, and east coast. Almost like 2 nations. West coast, down the center, and the east coast. The point is, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. So what do I suggest? I suggest we all pray that America does not force Israel to split, and I suggest that we all pray that America gets prepared. One, prepared to survive it, but also, even more important, prepared to be a big witness, prepared to win a lot of souls in the trouble ahead, my brothers and sisters. We got to pray. We got to pray that these things, yes, we want the revival, we want the miracles, we just don't want the problem. We don't want to see the problem, we want to see the miracles and the revival. If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians, and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper, and as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice. In 2021, I started making bread. And long story short is I believe God showed me that wheat is God's famine food, just like it was famine food back in the 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine, days of Pharaoh and Joseph. And I believe that that's what God has planned to feed his people. And you get it by going to josephskitchen.com. 3 steps. First, you want to get a machine package. Second, you want to order 6 ingredients and watch some videos, download the recipes to be able to make the bread. josephskitchen.com. Most of your long-time storage food, emergency food, all of that, typically are talking $9,000, $10,000 to feed one person for a year. Joseph Kitchen can show you how to do it for around $1,000 a person, and your kids will actually eat it, and it's actually good for you. Here's some bread that I made. In my case, I lost weight, lowered my blood pressure, gives me more energy. I eat a morning, slice in the morning, slice in the afternoon. Always a slice before I go play racquetball. Go check it out, josephskitchen.com. When the suitcase nukes, I didn't say if, I said when the suitcase nukes go off, if you want your car to start, if you want your computers and your refrigerators and things like that, anything with a computer chip to work, you want to have one of these from EMPShield.com. EMPShield.com. And they have videos up there. It takes about 10 minutes to put on. It's not complicated at all. And if you use the word prophecy, promo code prophecy, you get a $50 discount, and it helps your Prophecy Club. I'd recommend you get Potassium Iodide at prophecyclub.com. When a nuclear device is detonated, the wind blows the dust, and it's like fine dust. It's like powder. And it settles on everything. You breathe, eat, or absorb radioactive iodine. You pretty much can't avoid it, which kills your thyroid, killing you. But a simple fix is to simply take potassium iodide pills, which then flood your thyroid with good iodine, keeping the radioactive iodine out. You need 1 bottle per person per exposure for everyone from infant to adult, available. 10 bottles for a gift of $150, which is what I recommend, or $20 a bottle at prophecyclub.com. Shelf life 5 to 8 years, potentially more if you refrigerate it, or even more if you freeze it. Potassium iodide pills, prophecyclub.com. Right now we have them in stock, but so many people are ordering them, you may have to wait a while to get them. If you're out and about and all of a sudden you need gasoline, you need food, and the credit cards aren't working, they aren't taking dollars, then one of the best things to have is right here. It's a prepper bar. Each one of these is a little bit bigger than a credit card. It'll fit in your purse or your billfold, and it breaks into various pieces. So you could give them part instead of maybe more silver, more gold than you need to. Carry it right in your billfold or your purse. This particular one is 5 bars. You don't necessarily need to carry 5 bars with you, but you call 844-771-1776 or prophecyclubbar.com. prophecyclubbar.com. 844-771-1776.